Prime Time Studios. Viewers, my friends, we are in the slog overs. 2 phases remain with a little over 100 seats between them. These seats are spread across Bengal, Odisha, Bihar, Uttar Pradesh, Delhi, Punjab and Haryana. In these states, as you know, viewers, the BJP is the party to beat as it won more than 80% of the seats in 2019. That was, of course, categorized as a Modi wave election. Given the absence of any discernible anti-BJP wave / anti-Modi wave in any of the states, barring perhaps Punjab, where there are different factors at play, and a few seats in Haryana, the BJP is well placed to romp home in the ensuing 2 phases. The Prime Minister is not even waiting for the ballot to be pressed, the button to be pressed on the EVM in phase 5, 6 or 7. He has already gone on record before phase 5 to claim that the party is on its way to 400 power, and Amit Shah had indicated that after phase 4, it had gone past the halfway mark. But despite the 2 senior-most campaigners for the BJP-led NDA predicting a 2014 and 2019-like whitewash for the opposition, the India bloc is undeterred. And viewers, they have every right to be, after all. This is a democracy and they have a right to claim a comeback. Viewers, they are basing this claim by pointing out to a lack of a Modi wave and also showing data after data sheet on the economic distress that the people have suffered in these last 10 years, particularly in the last 5. And on the back of this distress, they say there is widespread antipathy against the NDA. Rahul Gandhi, Kejriwal and Mamata Banerjee have predicted a rout for the NDA. The term being used is, quote, 2004-like, unquote, humbling awaits Modi. Listen in yourself, viewers.
तन मन धन से ये चुनाव कोई मामूली चुनाव नहीं है, ये चुनाव भारत के अस्तित्व का चुनाव है दोस्तों, और पूरे देश में इस टाइम इनके खिलाफ माहौल है।
এই লড়াইটা বড় লড়াই, এই লড়াই জিততে হবে। আমরা বসিরহাট লোকসভা থেকে বিজেপি কে করব খালি।
इसमें 79 सीटें समाजवादी पार्टी, कांग्रेस, इंडिया गठबंधन जीत रहा है।
Viewers, we know it's a consequential election. We know it's a pivotal election. The Prime Minister has already said that he's working 24/7 for 2047. The resurrection of Bharat is the defined purpose. And therefore nothing can be ruled out, especially when it comes to India's discerning voters. But even so, the opposition has its task cut out, viewers. There are at least 5 barriers it must cross before it can hope to oust the BJP in a repeat of the 2004-like surprise victory scored by the Congress-led UPA. Let's go over these barriers. The first barrier, BJP's vote lakpatis are the first barrier. 164 seats, the victory margin was 2 lakh votes. 105 seats, the victory margin for the BJP's candidates was 3 lakh votes. In 44 seats, the victory margin was 4 lakh votes. In 14 seats, the victory margin was 5 lakh votes. What is the takeaway from this data, viewers? It's simple. The BJP has very few marginal seats to lose. In elections where the incumbent party is sitting on marginal seats, i.e. seats that it won by narrow margins, viewers, the result can be unpredictable. Here, it would take a lot. Vote swings of 1 lakh plus in a large number of seats to even begin to dent the BJP. There is another barrier. BJP's 50% plus vote share in 224 seats in 2019 Now viewers, let me break this down for you. From 257 seats across UP, MP, Rajasthan, Gujarat, Karnataka, Delhi, Haryana, Uttarakhand and Maharashtra, BJP won 224 seats with a vote share of 50% plus. The takeaway, Congress must sway 10% to 15% votes. 10 to 15% votes from BJP in these states. And this brings us to the third barrier, BJP's 171 walkovers. The Congress won only 15 of the 186 direct fights with the BJP. Congress must win over 100 seats for the India bloc to take shape. The takeaway here is that in 2004, Congress was able to form UPA 1 with just 145 seats. It's a must win at least 100 seats against the BJP to triple its 2019 tally. Can it do it, viewers? That's the question. Another barrier, NDA's southern comfort. BRS erosion in Telangana and NDA's caste combo, resurgent one, resurrected one in Andhra will translate into more seats for the Modi-led ruling front. Just a 10% vote swing away from the BRS in Telangana allows BJP to bag 6 seats. If you were just to look at the historic data, viewers. The takeaway here is that gains in Telangana and Andhra could offset losses in Maharashtra, where some people are projecting a weakness in the NDA on account of some of its new allies. There's another barrier, the entry barrier 5. BJP has an Uttar, so to speak, viewers, pun intended. BJP won 40 seats in Uttar Pradesh with more than 50% vote share in 2019 despite BSP and SP alliance. The takeaway is almost impossible for India to form government without winning Uttar Pradesh. But viewers, hope lives eternal. India's democracy has thrown up surprise results in the past. I don't personally recall massive vote swings of more than 10 to 15%. 15% especially at the national level. But viewers, there's always a first time. It's happened at the state level on several occasions. In an issue-less, that's what people are saying, issue-less election, a non-existent wave election, local factors come into play. Things can be very quickly up in the air, viewers. So let's open this up. Let's ask some fundamental questions. And I want to first begin with cephalogist cum political commentator Dr. Suman C. Raman. We have an informed panel. Rahul Verma is also here with us. We have cephalogist Pradeep Bhandari. We have, of course, senior journalist Dr. Birendra Chaudhary, who's a number cruncher himself. So, Dr. Raman, look, there are these barriers. Do you see these barriers crumbling? Can it happen? And if so, is there any precedence in history? And if you could take us through some of these barriers that I have sort of commented upon to show that, yes, this is a distinct possibility that these barriers can crumble.
Barriers can crumble in any election, Rahul, and we have seen, as you rightly said, at the state level multiple times. The national level, we saw what happened in the aftermath of the emergency in 1977, what results came up then, and then we saw a complete reversal in 1980, which was hardly 3.5 years later. So I don't, anybody who says that, it's all over, I know that there have been desperate attempts, including co-opting some of the cephalogists to come up and say, BJP will win, it will be more than 2019 and so on. But, at the end of the day, all that it seems to betray is a greater level of nervousness. You don't need to, if you're winning 400 or you're winning 300 plus, there is no need to keep tom-tomming in the way.
Okay, I think we're losing Dr. Raman. Dr. Raman, signal issue coming through.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Can you hear me now? Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
So I think the problem, Rahul, is that there is a nervousness which is clearly felt in the BJP that perhaps things are not going as per plan. And how much ever the the so-called psephologists and political analysts, some of them are trying to cover their tracks by saying one thing today and one thing tomorrow. But some of them have consistently said, no, we repeat of 2019 is going to happen again and so on. But clearly, there is nervousness. And I think that today, as Sanjay Kumar of CSD has said, the question that is being debated is 272 going to happen or not? No, nobody is talking of 350. Nobody is talking of 400. Everyone is asking one question: will the BJP or the NDA be able to reach 272 or
Well,
not?
at least,
And that itself, I think,
these
is a
are
very
anecdotal
significant point.
again, sir. Look, I put out some data points. We need to come up with counterfactuals to show that yes, these swings are possible, that these massive margins
I'll
can.
tell you one.
Yes, go ahead.
I'll tell you one.
Yeah.
If in 5 years' time, I take my home state, Tamil Nadu, which swings violently from one side to the other. It has been swinging for the past 25 years, routinely, until Jayalalitha put an end to it in 2016.
But the vote shares are never that different between the two alliances. It's about 2% here, 3%. These are close.
In 19.
Tight
In
contest.
1991,
Yes.
in 1991, between 91 and 96, there was a complete massive swing in the vote share between the AIDMK and the DMK.
Okay.
91 was a post Rajiv Gandhi assassination election.
Okay.
96 was when Jayalalitha herself lost her seat. So I have seen this in multiple states.
Okay.
We've seen it, happen in states like Karnataka too in the past. But
it's interesting, Dr. Raman, you said that it was a post-Rajiv Gandhi assassination election. So there was a dramatic happenstance. Here we are being told it's an issueless, waveless.
I can go back further.
Okay,
I can
fair
go
enough.
back further and tell
Okay,
you.
let me
One second. Rahul.
Okay, yeah.
1977. No, 1980. No, 1980. There, the MGR government fought the Lok Sabha elections. MGR was in power. MGR was dismissed. He fought the Lok Sabha elections, and they were routed. The DMK and the Congress swept the Lok Sabha elections.
Okay.
3 months later, the assembly elections were held, and MGR won 134 seats and romped back to power. The difference in timing between the two elections.
Well, that has happened.
Was
I mean, that has happened as late
months.
as
3.5 months.
Yes, that's happened as late as 2020 Delhi. If you look at Delhi, or even 2015 Delhi. But again, that's a state versus national. Anyhow, let's open this up. Viewers, look, we're talking about a national election. We're talking about personalities. One side is Narendra Modi, 10 years in power. Someone
you need only
that
3 states to go against.
Yes, someone.
Rahul, I think you're not getting the point. You don't need every state to reverse.
Right, I understand. I understand. I'm just talking about seats right now. I'm not even going into the states. Then it becomes even more cloudy, the picture. Anyhow, Pradeep Bhandari, who is with Jan Ki Baat, of course, is an author and a cephalogist, comes out with a large number of polls. Some of them have been quite remarkably accurate, Pradeep. So let me just put this to you. I put out some data sets, some barriers, some entry barriers, if you please. Can these just suddenly collapse? Have these instances happened in the past? Can you point out statistically if this is possible at all?
Rahul, thank you so much for having me on your show. And as I speak to you, I'm speaking to you from ground zero. You were speaking about the state of Uttar Pradesh. And right now I'm in the state of Uttar Pradesh. And you mentioned certain data points. So let me say and outrightly answer that it is extremely difficult for such a huge shift to happen. Now, Rahul, I will not speak about anecdotes or historical facts. I'll just give you certain data points based on what is happening on the ground, because in the last 4 to 5 months, I've roughly traversed with my team of 100 researchers every other state, and we have the background of getting the 2019 elections also accurate. Rahul, we are looking at a country where Narendra Modi has increased its vote in 2014 from 15 crores to 22 crores in 2019. So what we are basically talking about, if there's a huge anti-incumbency, we are talking about a 15 crore vote shift which is taking place from Prime Minister Narendra Modi towards India Alliance. Historically, it has not happened. And on the ground, for that to happen, there has to be an extremely huge sense of anti-incumbency. Now, for that anti-incumbency to happen, there are 2 states which are extremely critical. One is the state of Uttar Pradesh and the other is the state of Maharashtra. Now, as I speak from Uttar Pradesh, let me tell you, Rahul, that the Bharatiya Janata Party, from data points every election since 2014, has only grown stronger in Uttar Pradesh. You take out the assembly election where the BJP has increased its vote, has come back with 2/3 majority. If you look at the 2019 election, where despite the SP and the BSP alliance, the Bharatiya Janata Party vote share increased from 41% to 49%. We are forgetting one very important factor while discussing all these seats and court margins, that caste is no longer a very dominating factor in deciding Indian elections. It is class which plays a very important role. And every election since 2014 has been dominated by the women vote, which is wherever the women have voted, that is where the party has won, whether it is Bengal 2021, whether it is 2014, 19, 20. Now, what I see from the ground, Rahul, there's a huge sense of pro-incumbency in the women electorate, which is 50% of the electorate of the 95 crore registered voters. And there is, and as rural areas you go and if you travel, and if your commentators go ahead and travel on the ground, you will see. In fact, I was in Sultanpur, the huge sense of welfare positive which is taking place on Narendra Modi. So, in fact, I would put you another fact that do not be surprised if the Bharatiya Janata Party increases its vote share or maintains its vote share of 50%, which was NDA last time in Uttar Pradesh. Another point. Let us look at another data point. Is the BJP only diminishing, or is the BJP expanding? Now, there are very states where the Bharatiya Janata Party is expanding. Look at the state of Uttar Pradesh, where the BJP got 8 seats. And at this moment, the Bharatiya Janata Party's graph sheet is only increasing further. Look at the state of Telangana, where in the assembly elections, the BJP got a single-digit vote share, and it increased to more than 20% in the Lok Sabha election, and it got 4 seats. With an evaporated BRS, there is a possibility that the BJP can emerge as the single largest party. In fact, that is what the ground is suggesting. Look at the state of Tamil Nadu, from where Suman has come. Tamil Nadu, the Bharatiya Janata Party last time had got 2 to 2.5% vote share. This time you might see a situation of it crossing 15% vote share. So what I'm trying to establish, Rahul, that there are many areas where the BJP might end up expanding its seat share and vote share, and the areas where it had maintained its lead margins, it is extremely, extremely difficult for the India Alliance to shift a 50% vote share margin which the BJP had won into an India Alliance shifting 15 to 20% vote. Rahul, 78 seats which were close margin seats last time, even in those close margin seats, the Bharatiya Janata Party was not winning all one way. So it's not necessary that the 78 close margin seats where the India Alliance had won, say, 35% of them, it will end up winning those 35%. So what I'm looking at, Rahul, is that the waves are not generally seen with people shouting. It's like a family. When the child is born, the father will show immense love. As the family in the relationship increases, the bond may not be as expressive, but the bond strengthens. What I see on the ground with Narendra Modi at this moment, that the bond is connected and people have complete clarity. And Rahul, another last point with which I will end. Please look at any election. People have never voted confusion. 2004 is not the right parallel, because in 2004, before the Lok Sabha elections, the Bharatiya Janata Party was a double-digit seat share party in Uttar Pradesh. It had broken the alliance with Mayawati, and there were issues with the BJP and the RSS. And right now, the BJP is strongest in Uttar Pradesh. That time, BJP was urban-dominated party. Right now, it's welfarism.
Yeah, and about 50 plus seats were with the SP and the BSP. You're absolutely right there. That has changed, absolutely.
So I see that. Yes. So Rahul, just to point, I do not see any amount of confusion in the mind of the voters. In fact, I put it in differently, Rahul, that we might think in Delhi that the voters, there is a huge sense of confusion. I believe spreading across 15 states that the voters have already made up their mind, and you will see that on June 4th.
Okay,
what I'm seeing
let me bring in.
Like they made up their mind in Bengal.
Okay. One second. Let's not speak over each other. Gentlemen, let's not speak over each other. Let's be courteous. There are other people also on this panel.
Can I come on the Bengal part? Can I come on the Bengal part?
No, one second.
Rahul, just 10 seconds. In Bengal in 2019, the BJP got 18 seats, which was there. So let us wait and watch for the Bengal results.
Okay, let's wait and watch. There the vote share went from 17 to 40%. There the vote
personal Bhandari in the Bengal assembly elections, and what happened?
Okay, one second. Gentlemen, I need to step in here. I need to bring in Rahul Verma now. Rahul Verma, sorry, please excuse. I'm bringing in Rahul Verma, senior fellow of the CPR. Dr. Birender Chaudhary is also there with us. They've also taken out time to be on this show. Please. Rahul Verma, what do you make of some of these statistical exercises that show that the BJP is very, very dominant, at least if you go into the past, and therefore it will be difficult for the opposition to jump these barriers, so to speak?
Okay, thank you, Rahul. Let me make 4 points. First, I think in terms of probabilities and not possibilities, because everything is possible. But if you start thinking in terms of higher and lower probability, things becomes much more clearer. Second point, See, any party is going to project more than it can actually chew. BJP is going to talk about 370 and 400, and Congress is going to say that we are going to bring down BJP below 250, and or we are going to win more than 150 seats. So politicians and political parties are going to talk like this. Let's not take their sort of like statements on face value. What is more possible is, even and pre-poll surveys has projected, most pre-poll surveys has projected in the month of late March or early April that BJP is poised to get somewhere around 320 seats. And now what seems to be happening that some of the pollsters and some people who are picking up chatter on the ground, they have started saying BJP may fall below 270. And so what the possible range of conversation is that BJP is either around 260, 270, or might be able to process to 2019 number. What does that signify? That signifies very same point what you actually mentioned, that BJP is in a very, very dominant position and it's a very formidable force. So yes, it is possible to see a 7.8 point percentage swing, but it's very difficult to break that wall of dominance. Point number three, in normal elections, in issueless elections, you cannot break through the wall of dominance. Elections and politics have certain systematic element. If BJP or this kind of dominant BJP has to be defeated, you should have seen an extraordinary mobilization by the opposition parties starting, say, January, February, March. You saw this happening in 2014 when BJP managed to got a big swing in its favor against the UPA or Congress party. So you could see that palpable anti-incumbency. What you are not seeing in this election, either a very high pro-incumbent sentiment or a very high anti-incumbency sentiment. Given that the fundamental of election is whether there is a high pro-incumbent or high anti-incumbent sentiment, what you are much more likely to see that the base effect of 2019 will play into this election. Which means, yes, it is possible for BJP to lose 10, 15 seats, but it's also possible for BJP to gain some seats. I think from the BJP's perspective, their arithmetic is very simple. Their arithmetic is that in northwestern areas, in areas where they had peaked, they might be losing some seats. And this is where the chatter is coming from, that they're losing some seats in Karnataka, in Rajasthan, maybe in Haryana. But from BJP's own perspective, that in non-core areas or where there was possibility of increasing the seats, including UP, which Pradeep pointed out, BJP is hoping to pick up seats in Bengal, in Odisha, in Telangana, and Andhra. And net, they would hope that there is no big change. My final point is, if we think that BJP is losing seats in all the states,
yes,
and they are losing in big way, then there is perhaps a small undercurrent against them, and they might not be able to make gains in other parts of the country, as BJP claims to be. What we are missing at the moment, that opposition between March and now hasn't done anything extra to be able to attract whatever, like there was palpable, like there was economic anxiety. All pre-poll surveys which projected 37 to 40% vote share for BJP said they will win 315, 326. They also said people are unhappy about their economic situation. What doesn't seem to have happened in these 2 months or 3 months, a groundswell mobilization by the opposition on some of the economic questions. Given that those things have not happened, I will hold my horses and would say that the base effect of 2019 continues to be in motion at the moment.
Okay, very interesting. Dr. Chaudhary, before I come to you, I just want to quickly tell viewers that in Barrier 2, the BJP won 144 seats with a vote share of over 50% across some states in the north, which have a total of 257 seats. There's a bit of an error in that graphic. It's 144 seats. So, yes, Dr. Chaudhary, go ahead, sir. Dr. Chaudhary.
नमस्कार, मैं आप सबसे और दर्शकों से कुछ आंकड़े बताना चाहता हूं कांग्रेस के बारे में। सबसे पहला पॉइंट कि कांग्रेस के इतिहास में लोएस्ट एवर नंबर पे कांग्रेस अब की बार लोकसभा चुनाव लड़ रही है, यानी वो संख्या है 328। ये सबसे बड़ा इंडिकेटर है कि पार्टी क्या सोच रही है। नंबर 2, कांग्रेस का वोट शेयर 1991 के बाद ही डिक्लाइन होता गया और पिछले 2 चुनाव में आप देखेंगे कि 20 के नीचे है। तीसरा पॉइंट, कांग्रेस पार्टी 52 सीट पाई थी 2019 में 18 राज्यों में, और 18 राज्यों में उनके खाते नहीं खुले थे, यानी 422 सीट 18 राज्य, सीटें मिली 52, 122 सीट खाता नहीं खुला। चौथी बात, एनडीए यानी कि बीजेपी एनडीए 14 राज्यों में बीजेपी को 50% से ज्यादा वोट मिला। सीटें कितनी थी वहां पे? 244। और यदि एनडीए बीजेपी का नंबर काउंट करें तो बनता है 219, यानी 244 में से एनडीए को मिलता है 90%। अब असली नंबर सुनिए, कांग्रेस को कितना मिला 244 में? कांग्रेस को मिला 7 सीट, स्ट्राइक रेट 3%। बल्कि आप ये कहें कि अन्य के खाते में कांग्रेस से ज्यादा सीटें गई। अब आइए फाइनल पॉइंट पे, 2009 का लोकसभा चुनाव, 2014 का लोकसभा चुनाव, 2019 का लोकसभा चुनाव, यकीन मानिए उनका वोट शेयर 12 करोड़ से ज्यादा नहीं बढ़ा, जबकि 2009 में वैलिड वोट भारत में हुआ था लगभग 42 करोड़, और 42 करोड़ में 2009 में बीजेपी को मिला था तकरीबन 8 करोड़। और जब नरेंद्र मोदी का इरा शुरू होता है 2014 में, तो वो 8 करोड़ बढ़ के हो जाता है 17 करोड़, और 2019 में वो बढ़ के हो जाता है 23 करोड़। अब की बार उनका टारगेट ये है, चूंकि 97 करोड़ वोटर है, नरेंद्र मोदी का टारगेट है ये जो 400 पार 370 पार की बात कर रहे हैं, उनका सीधा सीधा टारगेट है कि किसी तरह से 30 करोड़ वोट पाया जाए। और यदि 30 करोड़, क्योंकि 88 करोड़ से 97 करोड़ वोट पहुंच चुका है, टोटल वोट की बात कर रहा हूं, वोट गिरने के बाद पता चलेगा कि असलियत वोट कितना गिरा। और यदि 5 करोड़ भी वोट गिर गया तो अब आप कहिए कांग्रेस को सीट कहां से आएगा? 18 राज्य तो शून्य है, 422 में मिला 52 सीट, कहां से आएगा सीट? मैं भी तलाश रहा हूं, लगभग 6 महीने से कांग्रेस का नंबर 200।
That's an important point. Let me bring in again Mr. Rahul. Once again, let me just ask you this, Mr. Verma. The fact of the matter is that till the Congress doesn't do the heavy lifting, it's not going to be able to oust the BJP. The India bloc is not going to be able to do it. It's as simple as that. And the Congress therefore has to win 1 in every 3 seats it's contesting to get anywhere near 115, 117 mark, let alone the 145 or whatever it was in 2004 when it could form the UPA.
Absolutely right, Rahul. See, this election, in that sense, the geography of this election was very, very clear. That unless Congress pulls up its weight and puts up a good and credible fight against the BJP, BJP will be in striking distance of power. Now, but from the Congress perspective, I think their game has been very simple. That if we can pull down BJP a bit, they won't have to basically defeat BJP. If they can pull down a BJP a bit in Karnataka, in Haryana, in Rajasthan, in Delhi, and maybe in alliance with SP, get some seats in UP. I think their understanding is that they can snatch 25 to 30 seats from BJP in these states and not let BJP do well in other parts of India where India alliance members are there, then BJP is going to be below 272. And that's, I think, the frontier which the opposition is playing. Opposition, in some ways, is not playing to win the election. Opposition is playing to defeat BJP. These are two very different mindsets from the two parties have gone into this election. I will add something to this, which is, this is not to say that opposition hasn't done anything. There has been no narrative of opposition on the ground. What happened that opposition lost crucial chunks of time between September and February. They had done well in terms of building India opposition bloc, but between the months of October, November, December, Congress somehow did not do enough on the India alliance, sort of like taking it forward. And that basically created whatever momentum that was getting built.
Okay, well, viewers, look, let's be very honest. The Congress holds the key. If the Congress doesn't do the heavy lifting, the India bloc will suffer. And Modi has focused in speech after speech. There's an analysis that has been done only on the Congress, because he knows if he can keep it under 100, the BJP has a very good chance of returning comfortably to power. I leave it at this, viewers. We come back on a very important agenda that needs to be called out. It's the Western, a huge section of the Western press, and what they're up to in this country.
مطمئنا دشمنان سوء استفاده خودشونو میخوان بکنن. خبرهای امروز اسرائیل، آمریکا و انگلیس خودشونو نشون دادن، همونطور که در موضوعات دیگر در این کشور اتفاق افتاده خودشونو نشون دادن و مطمئنا ملت ایران قوی‌تر و بهتر نسبت به گذشته انشالله پیش خواهیم رفت.
با همه گیر و گرفتاریاشون پای خادمای شما ایستادن.
قطعاً میتونه مدیریت کنه. ما از این مراحل سخت‌تر هم داشتیم. اولین رئیس جمهور شهیدمون نبوده. مطمئناً هم از این حادثه با مثل همیشه سربلند رد میشیم.
و حرف پیام این ملت رو چجوری به همه دنیا رسون؟ السلام علی دل شکسته کسی به من میگفت خوش به حالم کشتن همه اهالی ایران.
نوکرای امام حسین میخوان بخونن بیزن بدن، اما برای هممونه.
تو روابط تونیس رو اصلاح کن به تعبیر مولا امیرالمومنین.
Ve burada görüyorsunuz helikopterin
میتونه یک راه بسیار خوب امنی رو برای ترانزیت کالا برای
نظام هیچ خللی ایجاد نمیکنه. این حادثه سنگینیه برای همه ما، در حقیقت مورد تأسف و تأثر.
انشاءالله خود سربازان شهید سلیمانی این کار رو انجام خواهند داد.
Pity that India's growth story is being eclipsed even as we speak. Yes, with tongue firmly in cheek, India's gross domestic product, GDP, has been robbed of its sheen by a section of the Western media's gross dilatory propaganda. WM GDP, let's call it that. What's worrying is that this WM GDP is almost totally export-led, and most of this industrial-scale output is being consumed by the bucket loads by unsuspecting Indians. And at the risk of lodging the tongue a little deeper into the recesses of the cheek, it would have to be said that Indian consumers have come to believe that what they are consuming is real GDP as opposed to nominal GDP. If there was ever a case of invoking anti-dumping laws, this is it. The problem could have been happily ignored had the manufacturers not purported to be reputed brands in themselves. When these big names feed the narrative, people, especially Indians who still exalt all things foreign, believe their products to be kosher. And this is why several people, including predatory opposition politicians, latched onto a Guardian newspaper report that was rather illogically titled, "Modi builds highways, but where are our jobs?" As if the highways were the work of a legion of apparitions, ghosts. Or is the Guardian suggesting that even if they were being built by real humans, the job of building India was by itself not a fulfilling one? Sure, it's back-breaking work, but are we to assume that these toilers get no satisfaction in knowing that their labor is transforming the lives and livelihoods of their fellow citizens? Oh, what contempt this guardian of the working class has for the dignity of labor. This Guardian newspaper article, or should we just brand it a pyramid of inverted piffle, moaned about how Modi's 10 years in office have left people poorer at the bottom of the social ladder and richer at the top. That there were no jobs to be had, and where there were a few available, they weren't good ones. And as if to anticipate the arguments against the conclusions drawn in their piece, the authors implied that the economic data on India's burgeoning economic growth was dodgy, perhaps even doctored. It's no one's argument that the Modi government's economic record is beyond question. The Prime Minister is the first to say that there's a lot for him still to do. There's no arguing that there is inequity in Indian society, and some of it is cruel and crushing. But disparity of the kind we witness in India today was evident a century ago in the United States, where the Great Depression scorched the poorest of the poor. Look how far the Americans have come. And it was all because of decisive leadership, which, by the way, Modi exhibits and often is also criticized for. Yes, mistakes will be made by him. Perhaps the BJP will even be punished for them. But till now, a vast number of Indians still trust Modi to deliver on his promises. It's that trust that keeps the BJP ahead in the electoral race. And that trust has been earned, contrary to the GDP that the Western media dumps into India. Nevertheless, it's reassuring to note that at the very least, the champagne socialists of the Western media are more ambitious for Indians than Indians were for themselves a little over 3 decades ago. Then the Congress party, with its anti-big business policies, pushed millions of Indians into poverty. Of course, the Guardian newspaper forgot to tell you that the alternative to Modi in 2024, the Congress party and its ecosystem, hasn't quite divested itself of its suspicion of big capital, and it's populistically contemplating frightfully wasteful schemes tried and thankfully rejected in the name of redistributing national wealth. If the Western media had any sense of fairness, it would do its own brands and their credibility a big favor by acquainting itself with the facts. Talking of which, here are just over 30 headlines. 415 million Indians lifted out of multidimensional poverty in 15 years, UNDP report. India's GDP to grow at a rate of 7.2%, IMF. India's star performer, contributing more than 16% of global growth, IMF. India's economic growth surges, defying global challenges, Asian Development Outlook. India's 8% growth dream within reach through fiscal restraint, economist Barry Eichengreen. India's economy to grow at 8 to 8.3% in current fiscal, the PhD CCI. EPFO net October member additions at 1.53 million. Net new women EPFO subscribers addition rises to 28.69 lakh in FY23. 5.14 crore person years of employment every year has been generated since 2014 on an average. The SCOC report. PMMY itself has added 2.52 crore steady and sustainable employment as an average per year since 2014. Net of employment mortality, SCOC report. Out of 5.14 crore person years, the government has paid for 1.97 crore person years of fractional employment as an average per year since 2014. Again, SCOC report. Employment generation totals to 25.2 crore credit-led employment and 19.7 crore person years of fractional employment every year since 2014. Again, SCOC report. Per rupees 85,000 of credit under PMMY, one self-employment is generated. SCOC report. PLI scheme report card. Production, sales, touch rupees 8.61 lakh crore, over 6.78 lakh jobs created. Unemployment rate, UR, in urban areas decreased to 6.7% during January-March 2024 for persons of age 15 years and above. PLFS data. Female UR decreased to 8.5% in January-March 2024. PLFS data. Labor force participation rate in urban areas shows an increasing trend from 48.5% to 50.2% during January-March 2023 to January-March 2024, respectively, for persons of age 15 years and above. Again, PLF data. Female labor force participation rate in urban areas rises to 25.6% during January-March 2024, reflecting overall increasing trend in LFPR. PLFS data. Increasing trend in worker population ratio for persons of age 15 years and above from 45.2% in January-March 2023 by 46.9% in January-March 2024. PLFS data. Female worker population ratio in urban areas rises to 23.4% during January-March 2024, reflecting overall increasing trend in WPR. PLFS data. A number of GST return filers up 65% to 11.3 million in 5 years. Finance Ministry. Net direct tax collection at rupees 10.64 trillion in April-November, 58.3% of PE. Share of women MSMEs jumps 37% in total MSMEs registered on government's Udyam portal. Factory output, IIP, rises to 16-month high of 11.7% in October. Net FDI into India touches 21-month high at $5.9 billion in October. India top investment destination as West looks beyond China. UN report. India hot investment destination for Western corporate giants. UN report. India's merchandise rises. Exports may grow to $500 to $510 billion in FY25. FIEO. India registers record export at US $778 billion in 2023-2024. Public sector banks total profit jumps 35%, crosses rupees 1.4 trillion in FY24. Claims paid to farmers under PMFBI against crop damage crosses rupees 1.59 trillion. Auto sector shows strong start in FY25. Total sales up 25% in April. Export of Apple iPhones from India doubled in fiscal year 2023-24. UPI transactions witnessed meteoric rise from 92 crore to 8,375 crore in just 5 years. Whew! 30 headlines that The Guardian missed. Think about that.
Debris and mangled metal can be seen wedged between trees at a site said to be the wreckage of Iranian President Ebrahim Raisi's helicopter on Monday. The footage from a Turkish broadcaster showed parts of the destroyed aircraft in a misty, forested area. Officials in state media on Monday said Raisi, a hardliner seen as a potential successor to Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, was killed along with 6 others aboard the helicopter after it crashed in poor weather in mountains near the Azerbaijan border. Supreme Leader Khamenei, who holds ultimate power with a final say on foreign policy and Iran's nuclear program, announced 5 days of public mourning and said First Vice President Mohammad Makbar would take over as interim president. In the first cabinet meeting after the crash, the acting leader vowed the incident would not interrupt the government's operations.
This
is a serious incident for all of us. It is sad and upsetting, but in the interests of the country and our people, we won't have any disruption. The country will continue moving forward under this leadership. Everyone should continue on with their roles despite this incident. In no way will this tragic incident interfere with the government and the running of our country.
The crash comes at a time of growing dissent within Iran over an array of political, social, and economic crises. Iran's clerical rulers face international pressure over Tehran's disputed nuclear program and its deepening military ties with Russia during the war in Ukraine. Iranians in exile in Berlin celebrated the president's death, while the head of a Paris-based Iranian opposition group told Reuters that Raisi's death represents an enormous and serious strategic blow to the mullah's supreme leader Ali Khamenei and the entire regime. The United Nations held a moment of silence for Raisi Monday, while leaders around the globe expressed their condolences, including Turkish President Tayyip Erdogan.
You're watching the Hard Facts live from the CNN News 18 Federal Bank Studios, primetime studios at that, viewers. Let's focus our attention on a story that A, should not have been ever reported, because this accident should not have taken place, because that anyone had a sense of responsibility, two people would have been alive, and we wouldn't have had to fulminate against the system. But viewers, the system conspired to deny two people of justice. The victims' kin are inconsolable. The families are asking questions. We are talking about a car crash that happened in Pune that has sent shockwaves across the nation. The Pune police have arrested the father of a 17-year-old who was involved in the car crash that killed two people. His entitled father wanted to indulge his 17-year-old son, who didn't even qualify for a driving license, handed him the keys to a Porsche car. Yes, viewers, one of those very expensive, fast cars, you see. And this kid decided that he would celebrate his graduation from school by drinking in a pub. 17-year-old, viewers. It's all gone to his head. The money, the fame, what have you. He lands up in a pub and he starts drinking. There's evidence of him. There's CCTV of him drinking there. Then he takes the car keys. He asks his driver to sit in the back. He gets all his friends to pile in. And they drive. And about 2.5 kilometers later, viewers, he speeds through on a road in Pune. And as you can see in the center of your screens, he smashes his car into two motorbike riders. They die almost instantly. This comes a day after the teenager's father was booked under the relevant sections of the Motor Vehicles and the Juvenile Justice Act for failing to do his duty as a guardian. Viewers, this entire case got almost buried. It was only because CNN News 18 began to focus on what was actually going wrong in this case, how the system was conspiring to deny justice to the hapless two victims, that some people are now beginning to find themselves cornered. The minor was, can you imagine, viewers, granted bail within 15 hours of his arrest because his age was taken into criteria. The lenient bail conditions of the accused sparked massive outrage. What were one of the conditions? That he would be let off if he were to write some 300-word essay on the crash expressing his remorse. And then he was told to work with the traffic police, if you please, viewers. He was asked to seek medical help and assist accident victims in the future. However, the victim's family is demanding maximum punishment for the accused, and why not? The scrapping of bail, given the fact that this minor was caught on camera drinking in a pub and then got behind the wheel of a sports car that mowed down two people. Is there a fit case to try the teen as an adult? Or is this the failure of the larger system that has led to these two deaths? The pub should be shut down, viewers, for entertaining these underage clients. The father should be thrown into jail as per the law. And this young man who thinks he's old enough to drink, old enough to drive, he should be put behind bars for a long time, viewers. Let's hope that the system wakes up. I leave it at this.
Earlier, it sent rescue teams to assist, while even the U.S. offered to help after receiving a request from Iran, according to State Department spokesperson Matthew Miller.
I'm not going to get into the details, but we were asked by the Iranian government for assistance. We said that we would be willing to assist. It's something that we would do with respect to any government in this situation. Ultimately, largely for logistical reasons, we weren't able to provide that assistance.
The U.S. government offered condolences to the Iranian people, though a White House spokesperson said Raisi had blood on his hands for supporting extremist groups in the region. An Israeli official who requested anonymity told Reuters it was not involved in the crash, while the U.S. said it played no role either.
How will these elections impact Bharat's rise in the world? Join me, Nalin Mehta, for the most dynamic and distinctive coverage, unrivaled political punditry, and the sharpest election analysis. Elections equals CNN News 18.
رضا فرمودن سوره فجر رو بخونید. امام صادق فرمودن
الصدیق الشهید همتی از پرتو خورشید حق ما خادمان ملت غریب بذار که بی پرده بگم امام رضا دیوونتم یا حسین.
خب از این خبر همه ناراحت شدیم. بالاخره یک رئیس جمهور مردمی و یک رئیس جمهور خستگی ناپذیرمون رو از دست دادیم و انشالله که خدا به مردم ایران صبر بده.
برادر بزرگوارم آقا حنیف طاهری عزیز.
مطمئنا دشمنان سوء استفاده خودشونو میخوان بکنن. خبرهای امروز اسرائیل، آمریکا و انگلیس خودشون رو نشون دادن، همونطور که در موضوعات دیگر در این کشور اتفاق افتاده خودشون رو نشون دادن و مطمئنا ملت ایران قوی‌تر و بهتر نسبت به گذشته انشالله پیش خواهیم رفت.
Halt the Modi juggernaut. Join me, Nistula Hebbar, for the most dynamic and distinct coverage, unrivaled political punditry, and the sharpest election analysis. Elections equals CNN News 18.
قطعاً میتونه مدیریت کنه. ما از این مراحل سخت‌تر هم گذشتیم، داشتیم اولین رئیس جمهور شهیدمون نبوده. مطمئناً هم از این حادثه با مثل همیشه سربلند رد میشیم.
و حرف پیام این ملت رو چی جوری به همه دنیا رسون؟
نوکرای امام حسین میخوان بخونن به این زن بدن اما برای هممونه
تو روابط تونیس رو اصلاح کن به تعبیر مولا امیرالمومنین.
Ve burada görüyorsunuz helikopterin
میتونه یک راه بسیار خوب امنی رو برای ترانزیت کالا برای
نظام هیچ خللی ایجاد نمیکنه. این حادثه سنگینیه برای همه ما، در حقیقت مورد تأسف و تأثر.
انشاءالله خود سربازان شهید سلیمانی این کار رو انجام خواهند داد.
helikopterin parçaları burada.
Debris and mangled metal can be seen wedged between trees at a site said to be the wreckage of Iranian President Ebrahim Raisi's helicopter on Monday. The footage from a Turkish broadcaster showed parts of the destroyed aircraft in a misty forested area. Officials in state media on Monday said Raisi, a hardliner seen as a potential successor to Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, was killed along with 6 others aboard the helicopter after it crashed.
Personal equations spoil chances. Join me, Smita Prakash, for the most dynamic and distinct coverage, unrivaled political punditry, and the sharpest election analysis. Elections is equal to CNN News 18.
Co-powered by weather in mountains near the Azerbaijan border. Supreme Leader Khamenei, who holds ultimate power with a final say on foreign policy and Iran's nuclear program, announced 5 days of public mourning and said First Vice President Mohammad Makbar would take over as interim president. In the first cabinet meeting after the crash, the acting leader vowed the incident would not interrupt the government's operations.
این حادثه سنگینیه.
This is a serious incident for all of us. It is sad and upsetting, but in the interests of the country and our people, we won't have any disruption. The country will continue moving forward under this leadership. Everyone should continue on with their roles despite this incident. In no way will this tragic incident interfere with the government and the running of our country.
The crash comes at a time of growing dissent within Iran over an array of political, social, and economic crises. Iran's clerical rulers face international pressure over Tehran's disputed nuclear program and its deepening military ties with Russia during the war in Ukraine. Iranians in exile in Berlin celebrated the president's death, while the head of a Paris-based Iranian opposition group told Reuters that Raisi's death represents an enormous and serious strategic blow to the mullah's supreme leader Ali Khamenei and the entire regime. The United Nations held a moment of silence for Raisi Monday, while leaders around the globe expressed their condolences, including Turkish President Tayyip Erdogan, who said earlier it sent rescue teams to assist, while even the U.S. offered to help after receiving a request from Iran, according to State Department spokesperson Matthew Miller.
I'm not going to get into the details, but we were asked by the Iranian government for assistance. We said that we would be willing to assist. It's something that we would do with respect to any government in this situation. Ultimately, largely for logistical reasons, we weren't able to provide that assistance.
The U.S. government offered condolences.
CNN News 18 and Federal Bank Primetime Studio.
Namaste, Jai Hind, and welcome to this edition of The Right Stand. I'm Anand Narsimhan, coming to you live from the CNN News 18 and Federal Bank Prime Time Studios. We join you with news just coming through, ladies and gentlemen. It's a big setback for the former Delhi Deputy Chief Minister Manish Sisodia and also the Aam Aadmi Party ahead of the Delhi elections, where they were hoping for some relief coming in from the Delhi High Court on the bail plea on both the ED and the CBI cases. But the High Court very strong in its observations and denying bail to Manish Sisodia. News coming through at this point is that the Delhi High Court has turned around and said that Sisodia has not made a case for bail both in the ED and the CBI case. The corruption in this case originated with the applicant's desire to design a policy that is beneficial to some. Case at hand is of grave misuse of power. The aim was to create a policy that is beneficial to some and kickbacks could come in. So some very strong observations that have been made by the court. Manish Sisodia has to pass the triple test in CBI and twin conditions in PMLA. Sisodia had involved himself in the destruction of evidence and hence the possibility of tampering of evidence cannot be ruled out. All these concerns raised on behalf of the ED and the CBI have also been upheld and aired by the court while denying Manish Sisodia bail. Ananya joins us with